We are at Holborn Studios today in East London, doing a talk for the AOP about starting out in photography. Should be a great event. Loads of great speakers here. Just heading in now. Hope you guys enjoy it. We are Amit and Naroop. We are a photographic duo, and we're going to be talking to you about starting out in the industry. Okay. Now, before we get started, we thought it'd be only right that we tell you how we got started in the industry. So, you get to know about who we are and how we did it. So, we've been working together for about 12 years. Amit, do you remember what we looked like 12 years ago when we started working together?
I was probably slimmer.
Well, that's us, right? That's Amit. he had hair.
Recreate that now.
You can there you go. Yeah. That's the pose. That's Amit with the hair. That's me, chubby-faced, no grey hair, no wrinkles, happy. Two naive young lads thinking we're going to take the photography world by storm. If I told you that this was taken 1 year after we had started shooting, would you believe me? And the fact that we knew absolutely nothing about photography. And let me rewind to how we actually first got started. So Amit was dabbling in photography. By that I mean he'd put it on automatic mode and just click the shutter. And I brought a friend along to him and said, look Amit, I really need to get some photos on of this guy. He's a good friend of mine. He wants to be a music artist. Do you mind helping out? So we did a shoot together. We both worked together on it. And the images came out great. And to this day, they're fantastic images. At that moment, we had this brainwave. Let's become a photography duo. Amit and Naroop, we're going to take over the world. And literally, we didn't look back. But the fact is, we didn't know anything about photography. So what we did, we spoke to Amit's mum and dad and said, guys, look, we're really passionate about photography. We'd love to have a space to shoot. So they were renovating the house. And we got Amit's parents to put down white wooden floor, white walls, a backdrop, lights, the whole shebang. And we started shooting portfolios from the living room. And I remember one incident. Do you remember those two girls that we were doing a portfolio for? And we had two girls that we were shooting a portfolio for. And after 2 minutes, we had exhausted all the poses we knew. So we had this genius brainwave idea to run into another room, grab, I think it was like a Debenhams catalogue or Littlewoods, and literally flick through the catalogue to look for poses because we knew nothing. But somehow, some way, after a year, we managed to build up a little bit of a name for ourselves. And then we went back to Amit's mum and dad again and said, guys, look, we'd really love it if you could lend us some money. We want to buy our own studio. And, the loving parents they gave us some money and we bought our own studio. And that's what's happening here. It's not a pose. We've actually got the keys to our studio in our hand, or in my hand. And this was the place. It was an ex-charity office. And then, us being the ambitious guys we are, we thought it would take us 3 months to renovate it. It actually took us 2 years. 2 years to renovate the studio. That's me in the corner, that's the studio, and literally it was like a never-ending job. Imagine getting to the studio for 7 a.m. every morning, finishing at 7 p.m. every night, 7 days a week. That's what we did for 2 years. And we thought this was going to be the hard part, There's me picking my nose while Amit's dad lays down the tiles. And we knew nothing about photography. About building. We're not handymen, okay? So we kind of didn't know what we were doing. Amit's dad would do all the work. Sometimes Amit would hit me on the head with a hammer just for fun. But we did what we could do. Slowly but surely, the studio started to come together. Here's Amit, posing as his dad does the plumbing. And like I said, we thought this was the hard part. But really, guys, this was the easy part. Because having the studio is one thing, getting the work, that's something completely different. But things have improved a lot now. We're very well established. We shoot a lot of advertising, a lot of portraiture. We recently did a shoot at Comic-Con in Earl's Court about cosplay and people dressing up as their role models, their idols. Here's Captain America trying to beat us up. We like to have fun, as you can probably tell. You can't take life too seriously. Iron Man, wears two kind of sidekicks hanging out. This is interesting. When Princess Jasmine thought she'd grab our bumps, that was interesting experience. And here's a Harlequin from the Suicide Squad movie. I was trying to look cool. But like I said, we've produced some good work now. This is a recent project we did called the Sing Project about British Sikh men that we're going to be exhibiting in Manhattan next month on 5th Avenue, which should be really good. We've got to shoot people like Ricky Gervais, who's, one of our heroes, Dynamo Magician. Again, this is the kind of stuff we do, portraiture, a lot of studio stuff, but we do work on location a lot as well. Here are a couple of the images from our cosplay exhibition, people dressing up like their idols. And we love what we do. But what we're going to talk to you about today is how you should start out in the industry. Because the route we took, the self-taught route, it cost us a lot of money, okay? And a lot of wasted hours because we didn't know what we were doing. So what we've constructed for you is a talk based upon what we would tell ourselves if we had started all over again. So we've gone through our life and thought, what we really want to know if we were starting from scratch? And hopefully it will be beneficial for you. Again, here's some advertising stuff, and we've been on a lot of kind of press and TV and stuff, and BBC World News, and it's been really good. But the two ways we think that you can start in the industry is either taking a self-taught route, which a lot of people have done and they've been successful. It takes a little bit longer, or through assisting and mentorship. Now, assisting isn't anything new. A lot of people have done it. A lot of people do it. But what we want to do is give you a few kind of hints and tips and tricks that will hopefully you can learn something from what the people have already told you today. Okay, something else, a few bonuses that can maybe get you in the door a bit quicker, maybe get you to work with a photographer that you really want to work with. And we hope that you find it useful. So Amit's going to start, and he's going to talk about how to find.
Alrighty, how are we doing? Right. So I just want to get an idea of the crowd and find out kind of who's who. So who is currently an assistant? Okay, hands down. Who is kind of, and out of those assistants, is your goal to kind of become a professional photographer, would you say? And I'm presuming the rest of you guys are a bit earlier on. You may be at university. You're thinking about pursuing photography as a career, right? Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. So, has anyone ever been speed dating before? Yeah. Why did you go speed dating? Why did you go speed dating?
Why not? Just give it a try.
Give it a try. There you go. Give it a try. So, the reason I mentioned speed dating is not because I'm single. The reason I'm mentioning speed dating as an example is it's basically a way of testing and meeting lots of different people very quickly, rather than potentially staying with one person who you don't really like. And I guess humans, we're all curious, you always think there could be other people out there for me, there could be other jobs out there for me, there could be other opportunities out there for me. We made a mistake when we started. We didn't really explore enough options within photography. So what we want you to do, we want you guys to think about the top 10 photographers that appeal to you. Because if you're going to learn, ideally you want to learn from the best, right? Make sense? If I were learning Kung Fu, for example, I'd want to have a really good instructor rather than someone who doesn't really know what they're doing, because it might not help me if I were to get mugged on the way back from Holborn Studios. So, really important to get good advice and learn from good people.
Can I just add something there, Amit? Sorry. It's important that you learn from different types of photographers. So you learn from maybe like a still life guy, a fashion guy, a portrait guy, a landscape photographer. Because when you learn from different types of photographers, you can maybe find a genre that you didn't think you were good at, but you can do really well at. So you might think you want to do fashion, but you actually might be really good at still life. Okay, so it's important initially that you try to get some variety and work with different types of people. And even if you do continue to do portraiture, if that's what you want to do, you might learn something from the way a still life photographer lights, or the way a fashion photographer lights, or little hints and tips. So initially, with the top 10 people that you work with, initially, make sure they're from different backgrounds, different disciplines of photography.
Thank you, mate. So as I said, try different people. Who has actually sent any emails out to any photographers before? Offering assistance work before? Okay, it's good. So, not bad, some of you. Do you guys find that challenging sometimes? Do you find it frustrating? It can be difficult because as professional photographers, we do get approached a lot. I would say on average, we receive probably between 50 to 80 applications a month now for kind of internships. So it's really important to kind of make that jump, even though it feels scary. So as Naroop quite said, he said, different styles, you know, you want to look at different people out there because, you know, there might be something that you're fantastic at, but unless you've experienced it, you might miss out on that for the rest of your life. So back to my point about getting in touch with professional photographers. People are busy these days. If I'm really honest with you, if I had to sum up what I think the most effective way, or one of the most effective ways to make contact with a professional photographer, I would say a short, concise email, in my opinion, no more than 10 lines. Reason being is people don't have time. You've heard from some of the other speakers today, photographers are very busy. They're not going to kind of put a lot of time into reading everything about you. You may be proud of the fact that you've been to like a particular university or got a certain degree, but a lot of photographers, often that's not their main concern. Their main concern is, what can this person do for me? How can this person help my shoots? How can this person be part of my team and ensure I get booked again? That's the things you want to be thinking about, not I'm there to learn and I want this guy to teach me everything, because that will come naturally anyway, okay? But firstly, you really want to think, what can you do for this person? Add some value to them. So, we talked about trying out different photographers. Now, let's say, for example, you've fallen in love with still life. Okay, you've tried different things. You then want to look at the best photographers within that particular sector. So you want to look again. AOP is great. They've got a fantastic directory, so you can go through and have a look by category, exactly the type of photographers you're interested in. Funny story, actually. When we started, we didn't really try different things. Oh, we did. Do you remember the carrot?
Yeah, the carrot at the time.
Okay, so one of the things a lot of up-and-coming young photographers do is they'll see something, they'll try and replicate it. So we thought, you know what? We can do portraits, but why don't we do products? Because if we do products, that'll mean, you know, more business, more money for us. This will be great. We can offer everything under the sun. So we thought, let's be creative. So one afternoon, we searched the house for objects, and we decided on a carrot, I think my dad's tie, and my mum's plant pot. And for the next 3 hours, myself and Naroop experimented with these objects. Various poses, various lighting, various positions. But we kind of looked at each other and felt by the end of it, this isn't us. I'm sure you guys have gathered we like to talk. So you can imagine the conversation between me and a carrot, how that went down. So the point of this is there are different things out there for different people. There are probably even other genres we never even experimented in the early days, but which we may be great at. So you guys, I'm actually kind of jealous and envious of you guys, because you have the opportunity to shadow great people from different industries, different backgrounds. If I started emailing photographers now saying, can I come on set all day for you? I don't think a lot of them would necessarily want me there. Whereas you guys have the advantage that you're not professional photographers yet, so there is no reason for them not to want to have you on board. Now, Rachel mentioned this earlier, actually. It was a great talk, by the way. The business side. Why do you think the business side is important? You want to make money. And the reason you want to make money is, one, so you can kind of, I'd say you want to be able to continue doing this. Because I know people that used to do photography. They made some errors, they made some mistakes, and now they're no longer in photography and they work in other careers. And for me, that's quite sad, because some of these guys were actually quite talented people. But often it's not the most kind of talented people that make it in life. It's often, you know, a combination of hard work, persistence, energy, effort, thick skin. All of these things you guys are going to need to develop. Because you are going to get a lot of rejections. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say it's easy. You're going to send these emails and everyone's going to be like, yeah, come over. You can assist and I'll pay you £2,000 a month and I'll throw in a car as well. It's not going to work like that. You're actually going to have to put blood, sweat and tears into this. And ultimately, you're going to have to want it. If you really want something, it doesn't feel like that much work, you know. It doesn't feel that much of a challenge. It feels more fun. I look at our career as kind of a game and an adventure. because we wake up every day, we drive to the studio, we have a great day, we don't know what opportunities are going to come in, and it's a great feeling, That's the excitement of photography for me. Photography equals opportunity. It doesn't quite rhyme, but it sounds good anyway. So learn the business side, guys, because if you learn the business side, it will mean that you can continue to do this for many years to come, and you can share that knowledge with other people as well. So if you're kind of assisting a photographer, you can add a bit more to them, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. So currently, who has their own portfolio of photography? Hands up. Okay, brilliant. That's quite impressive. We've done numerous kind of interviews over the years with assistants, but we've found, a good percent, maybe 20 to 30%, when we ask them, can we see your portfolio, they say,
I haven't got one.
that was good. We didn't even plan that. That's what I'm talking about. So they haven't got one, and I say to them, look, you've been assisting these great photographers, because I know who they are, I can see it on their CV, and you've been doing this for 5 years, but you don't have a portfolio. And I'll hear things like, and these are people who want to be professional photographers, by the way. These are not people who want to stay as assistants. So these are people who kind of want to work their way up the ranks. And I'll hear things like, oh man, I just don't have the time, or I don't know, man, I haven't got round to it. And I'm like, but you're kind of, you've got the studio, you've got the equipment. We heard earlier how assistants have been able to use like Rankin Studio. That's great. Why would you not want to use stuff? And I kind of worked out that a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are really scared because they're worried that the idea they've got in their head isn't necessarily going to be translated like that in the picture, and their friends are going to see it and they're going to think, you know what, your photography is not that good. I'll be honest with you, when we started, our photography was better than maybe the average person's, but it was still nowhere near where we are today. And every year we've seen growth, and you guys will see that as well. So don't expect your portfolio to be amazing. I know the easy thing to do is go online, type in images. We used to look at GQ and Vogue magazine, and I'd cut them out, I'd stick them all in my room. That's actually a really good tip, by the way. If you want to learn poses, cut pictures out, stick them on your wall, and they kind of become second instinct, natural to you, because that will help you moving forward. Anyway, the point of this is we'd look at their pictures, and then we'd try and do the same thing with someone else, and we'd think, that one looks shit. Why is this? And it can kind of start affecting your confidence, but you're not going to get to be able to shoot fashion models straight away as a young assistant. You're going to have to be resourceful and work around other people. Who has friends in here? That is worrying. You know how long that took? None of you have friends in here. This is a sad crowd. No, I'm joking. Point of this, guys, is when we started, we were resourceful. So we talked to our friends who were kind of up-and-coming models. We had friends who were DJs. We had friends who were in bands. And we said to them, look, we've just started our photography game. Let's do some pictures for you. No cost this time. So for the first few months, we'd experiment. That is the fun bit. Trust me, that is the fun bit. Out of all of the things I do in our business, I still love that feeling of kind of testing and experimenting. The business side is great, but the freedom you get of testing and experimenting is great. So we were resourceful. We thought, who do we know? And what we actually found is, once we'd done shot a few people, we actually had enough images for a portfolio. So we got a simple website, and literally within the next few weeks, we had other people saying, you've shot my friends who are in a band, we've got a band, we haven't got a big budget, we got 300 quid, can you come and do a shoot for us? All right, cool. Started doing it. Now, we could have easily taken the other approach and said, our work's not quite ready yet, let's just wait, let's just practice, let's not put anything out there. But by putting work out there, it invited opportunity, it invited money, which we then used to fund our studio and fund our business. So that fear, guys, that you have in there, in my opinion, it can hold you back, okay? It's so funny how people will take photos on social media. They'll take 50 selfies of them doing this, doing that, and when I say, where's your portfolio? I haven't got a portfolio. Yet you've got 500 pictures of Instagram of random shit. I don't get it. Like, what's that all about? on a positive note, be resourceful. Think to yourselves, who do you guys know? Now, you guys might have friends who are kind of in other areas, makeup, for example. When we started out, we had some friends who were just starting out as makeup artists. Brilliant. Collaboration. So they'd kind of arrange the models, and we'll say, yeah, we'll do the photography and the retouching for you. Boom. Collaboration. So we, on our own, might not have been able to shoot those models because they might have said, no, I'm not sure. But because we had a friend who was a makeup artist, boom, done. This is an interesting point for you guys. Shooting with other photographers. Does anyone ever shoot with any other photographers? You do? Great, that's really good. Speaking to people in the past, I've asked them about this and they say, oh, I don't know, man, I just want the photos for myself, I don't really want to share. There can be benefits, guys, to shooting with other photographers. Now, I'm not saying you have to become a duo like us two, okay? But you can team up, so you can share production costs. So there might be something you guys are arranging and you all want to shoot images from it, Why not have a whip round, chip in together and produce something great? And you can all walk away with your own individual images, which can be great. So on our end, I'm going to talk to you about something quite important to you guys is shoot what you're interested in. Does anyone know what personal projects are? Why do people shoot personal projects? Good. I like you, man. What's your name? Jake. Okay, Jake, I like you, man. Matching in the white t-shirts too. That's a good answer. Any other reason why people shoot projects personal?
They're passionate.
Passionate. We had passion. Any other reason? No one else knows why people spend months and months doing pictures that they're not getting paid for. Build your portfolio. Why do you do that though? And to practice, but why? What's the end goal? To get work. Brilliant. So a lot of photographers, depending on what you're doing, you can't take out an advert in Yellow Pages. It doesn't work like that. Commissioners from an ad agency aren't going to book you. Really, what people want to see is, what is this guy all about? What are they all about? What can they shoot and what are they interested in? Personal projects, that's brilliant because that is your chance to shine. So you can shoot something that you're interested in, you can put time into it, you can put effort into it, and you can make it the best that it possibly can be. Now, projects can vary in length. Something could be shot in one day, something could be shot over 2 years. Okay? So if I were you guys today, I'd walk away and I'd go and think about what am I interested in? What would I like to see pictures of? Who would I like to spend my time with? And then start thinking about developing a project. Because if you develop a project, you'll be surprised at the opportunities that can come. We shot a project about 4 or 5 years ago in a boxing gym. Didn't get paid for it at all, but we wanted to shoot some cool pictures. 6 months later, we had a meeting with an ad agency and they said, Amit and Naroop, I love this photo. We want to book you for this big campaign. And that was a humongous campaign for us. And yet, of all of the pictures in our portfolio, they picked that one. Yes?
How did you get it in front of the advertising?
I like you, smart. The advertising agency were recommended by a makeup artist of ours. So that's another interesting thing. So we talked earlier and we heard earlier about people talking about databases and email shots, which I think are great. But the truth is, in this business, in this industry, there is no one blueprint. There is no one guaranteed way of making sure that your book works. So being at the top of your game all the time is really, really important. So the point is that personal shoot of the boxing gym led to work, that led to opportunities, and that kept us busy for a very, very long time. So please, guys, have a think about that and put some effort into it. I guarantee you it's a great way of kind of testing yourself and kind of putting yourself out there a lot more. I like that. Great. Right. I'm going to pass over to Naroop because I've talked for far too long. We're going to be talking about producing great work. Thank you.
Thanks, Amit. Okay, producing great work. How many people here are actively shooting, creating their own work at the moment? Hands up high so I can see. Okay, so a lot of you are shooting. Great. A lot of the times, what I find is assistants tend to assist, but they don't actually apply what they've learned. So what you guys need to get in a habit of doing is shooting as much as you can. Now, when we started, we used to shoot 7 days a week. Now, I know it sounds a lot, but in order for you guys to perfect your craft, you have to practice, 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 practice. Now, sometimes when you assist a lot, you get stuck in a rut where you know how to do everything lighting-wise, but when actually capturing that image, you don't have enough experience doing it. So what you want to get in a habit of is producing your own work. So learn from the photographers that you're assisting, learn from the other photographers that maybe you partner up with, and make sure your own work is being created. But you have to make sure you're creating the right type of work. Now, don't create work for the masses. What does that mean? So a lot of the time, people try to copy what they've seen on the internet. They might see some images, oh, that looks great, I'm going to do the same thing as that. But that kind of work has already been done. You're not going to get recognized by doing work that other people have done. So you've got to treat work almost like ice cream. So who here likes vanilla ice cream? Everybody like vanilla ice cream? Hands up. People like vanilla ice cream? Some people do, some people don't. But I'd say majority of people like vanilla ice cream. It's a kind of normal flavor that everyone kind of says, oh, that's okay. But no one's going to go out and talk about vanilla ice cream. If you can create your work to be like a really weird ingredient that's really different and maybe sets your tongue on fire, right? People are going to start talking about you. You want people to start talking about your work. So even at a very early stage, start creating work that is very different from what you see online. So what you want to do is you want to almost think of yourself like a cook. I know you want to be photographers, but think of yourselves like a cook. What you want to do is, the best chefs in the world, they get ingredients from around the world, okay, the most exotic ingredients, they mix it together, they cook it, they plate it up on a dish, and it's the most electrifying dish that people have ever tasted. And you want your work to be like that, so you want to learn from different people, right? Not necessarily copy exactly what they do, learn from them, mix it around in your little pot, and create work that is your own identity. The reason why me and Amit get booked is because our work has a very strong look that is easily identifiable by us. If you create work that the masses have seen, you're not going to get recognized. People, you need to know that you shot that image. People need to know that you shot that image, that you shot that image. You have to have a strong look to your work. So even at the very, very early stages, now I wish we had done this from the beginning. Start to think about the look of the work you want to create, and you'll have a stamp. And sometimes you can get booked off doing one shoot that's compelling, that's amazing. That's not like vanilla ice cream, okay? So think about how the kind of work you want to produce. Don't copy other people, learn from them, even steal from them, but make it your own, okay? It's safer to be risky because, like I said, if you create stuff that other people do, you're not going to get booked off that, especially in this day and age when there's so many photographers trying to create work, there's so many images going online. When we started, there was no Instagram, there was MySpace. Does everybody remember MySpace here? Anybody have a MySpace account? They used to have a MySpace account? Now that wasn't even for photography, it was for music, right? But we kind of just abused it and used it for our own personal use, and that's the only social media we had. So we had no way of really showing our work to people apart from physically going in with books or going in with our laptop, and still, it wasn't a digital way of sharing it. But nowadays with Instagram, everybody's a photographer, everybody's got an amazing Instagram page. So you're competing with these people, okay? So be risky, be different. Okay, the projects that we work on, we do a lot of personal work because I think it reflects who you are as a photographer. Our personal projects, some of them, I can't tell you the latest one we're starting because it's quite interesting, but it's totally out there and it's going to get people talking about you. Why did our Sikh project on Sikh men, why did that allow us to get on the BBC World News and speak in front of 200 million people? Because it was a little bit out there. No one had ever seen Sikh men in the studio photographed in our stylistic way, but we did it. And now it's allowed us to go to Manhattan and show on Fifth Avenue, but only because we pushed the boundaries a little bit. And that's what you need to do from the beginning. Make sure and ask yourself, am I pushing the boundaries of my work? Now this can go over your head and some people might not even listen to it, but it's an honest truth. That's the way you're going to make your identity as a photographer, put your stamp on your work, make it very different. Creating an identity online. Who here's got a website? Have you already asked that question? No. Okay, so a lot of you got a website. Who here's got an Instagram page? Facebook account, Facebook page, not just account, Facebook page dedicated to your photography. Anybody on Snapchat? A few. Snapchat's a new one, guys, that you need to all get on. But sometimes I'm shocked that people don't even have a website. Now, what we use is a website called Format. It's very simple. It's very easy to use. You can create beautiful, simple websites. But you have to make sure you've got a website and you've got your most updated and your best work possible shown on it. The amount of times we speak to assistants or we meet assistants when we do talks and they're like, I've got some work, but I'm still working on the website. And I say to them, look, I can build your website in 10 minutes. Don't tell me it takes me 2 weeks to build a website. It doesn't. It's a simple drag and drop option, okay? And you guys all know that. Have a website, even if it's 10 images, show people what you can do. How are you going to build yourself as a career as a photographer if you don't have a website? Make sure you've got a website. Make sure it's your best work. But here's a mistake. Sometimes people overcomplicate their bio. I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to go on our website from any of the links AOP sent out. A lot of the time, photographers have like this 4 or 5 paragraph bio about where they studied and where their influences came from and the journey they've been on. And sometimes people don't have the time to read that, right? But they want to get to know a little bit about who you are. What we've got is a 9 questions, FAQs, that we consistently get asked. Very simple, very easy to read. We put our character in there. People get to know a little bit about our personality. We've got some videos of ourselves on our website of us doing our talks and our behind the scenes, and we've got this Q&A show that we do on YouTube. So make sure you put your personality on your website and you don't overcomplicate your bio. Even think to yourself, if I'm going to put a bio about myself, I want somebody to maybe even laugh or smirk or be intrigued about who you are. So put something in there that's very different about you, that will make people want to engage with you. Okay, make yourself stand out. Think about what makes me really, really interesting. Because as a photographer, people are drawn not to see your work. You can't hide behind your work. That will only last for so long. They want to get to know who you are. Because when you're at the very top, the work is all really good. Sometimes the decision to who gets to shoot a campaign is down to what the individual is like. So myself and Amit, we're a duo. Amit's a little bit more cheeky than I am, so we've both got different personalities, and people tend to like that sometimes on the set because we can manage a set quite well between the both of us. Sometimes that allows us to get booked for certain jobs. So what is it about you, even if you're at the early stages and you're only doing shoots for 100, 200, 300 pounds, there's still a lot of photographers who are at that stage. What makes you different? Why should I want to book you for a shoot? Why should I want to book you? Think about these things. Give it some thought. Only you can answer that question. And really, when you have a website, keep it very simple. It should be like maybe work, if you're doing commission work, projects. I really, really encourage all of you guys to start working on personal projects as soon as possible. Even if it's a project about a family member or a dog or where you live or something, start to develop a personal project. When we start doing our personal project, our careers literally skyrocket. That's the honest truth. Because people, when you start to do advertising work and stuff like that, they're more interested in your personal projects than your commissioned work. Why is that the case? Because when you do a commissioned job, you're executing someone else's vision, an art director or creative director's vision. And you don't have as much control over the set as you think you do, because they have a very specific image they want to create, and you're there to help create the image. But when you're doing personal work, this is your work. This is the work that you want to do. You've got 100% control over everything. So start doing personal projects, guys. Even if it's very, very small and very, very simple, start to do it. Have an about section, which is about you, but make sure it's very interesting. A blog, if you guys like to keep blogs, your contact information, and your social media links. That's how your website should be. Very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make it a website where you've got these massive full-screen images that take a year to go through a slideshow. If anything, here's a piece of advice. Have your website look like an Instagram page. Okay, so if you go on our website, they're all laid out like you would see on an Instagram page. Why? People nowadays consume data like this. They haven't got time to click through every one of your images. No one's going to look at all 100 images. Nobody is going to look at that. But if you've got them all laid out as squares or like an Instagram page, they might scroll down your whole page and get an idea of the vibe of your work, a feel of your work, the colors, the mood, the tone. Set your image, your website out like an Instagram page. I guarantee you'll make the world of difference. Remember this, don't feed your ego. Sometimes people think I need my images to be seen full screen. All right, they need to see it in full HD and only one page per image, image per page. But sometimes people don't have the time to look at that. Okay, so do what's right for the person who's going to look at your work, for the viewer, not for yourself. Okay. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, I talked a little bit about this. You guys should all have these pages, Instagram especially. And make sure that you're posting daily, okay? It's really, really important. Post daily. Even if it's, how many people here have posted an Instagram post saying, I'm at Holborn Studios at this talk. How many people? One person, two people. Why are you guys not posting on Instagram that you're here? Letting your followers know, you know what, I'm a photographer and I'm learning about this. Your Facebook page, you should have an image of you guys here. Let people know you're doing this. Even if you're not starting to book a huge amount of work yet, put the seed out there, put the word out there. Remember this, right? The world responds to seed, not need. What does that mean? You might need to get a job, but the world doesn't care about that. But if you planted seeds, a seed that you're here, that people start to know that you're doing work, yes, a job might come because you've put the work in early, and now it's time to reap the benefits of your work you put in. So plant those seeds, let people know that you're a photographer. Don't be embarrassed by it. It goes down back to what Amit said about being scared. You shouldn't be fearful of your dreams. You should, if anything, push them out there. Because do you know how many people out there who've got dreams to do something but are too scared to even tell their partner or their mum, their dad or their friend because they feel they're going to be ridiculed? Don't be like that. Put it out there. Then you hold yourself accountable. Now you've told someone you're at a photography talk. The person might ask you, what are you doing at a photography talk? Oh, you know, I'm trying to get into photography. I'm starting out. Oh, brilliant. People might start talking about you guys. All right, put it out there, be brave, okay? Only the brave succeed, all right? And use hashtags. Each Instagram image, you can put 30 hashtags per image. Hashtags is the best way for you to get likes and get new followers. So each one of our posts has 30 hashtags, that's the maximum. Use a website like Get Hashtags or Top Hashtags. You guys should all be writing that down if you want to improve your careers. Get hashtags, top hashtags. Whatever you want to do, if it's Captain America, whatever you want to put hashtags for, put it in there, it will give you a list of the top hashtags. Copy and paste, boom, post, done. You'll start getting followers, you'll start getting more likes, guarantee you. Show finished work and behind the scenes work. Do you know, the posts that get most engagement for us are our behind the scenes photos. That's why we took all those photos clowning around with the guys at the Comic-Con event. People love that stuff. They love to see what we're like on set, what any of you guys are like on set. Why? Remember, majority of people are sitting in an office and they're behind a desk, bored. But you're showing, guess what, I'm on set. I've got this model, this guy here, I'm out in the woods or I'm in the studio. People love to engage with you and see stuff like that. Feed them, give them that kind of stuff. Okay, it makes you look good, that you're enjoying your life, and people will talk about you highly. All right? So make sure everything you do, document it. You've got no excuse. You've all got cameras on your phones. All right? Remember, it's not about the camera, it's the person behind the camera. It doesn't matter if you've got an iPhone or Phase 1, whatever. You can still take good images. It's about who you guys are. So make sure you capture it. So to sum up, guys, make sure you start to take some action. Make sure you make your list of your top 10 photographers in all genres if you're starting to assist. Even if you are an assistant, try out another photographer where you can learn something new. Make your list of the top 10. Once you've found your speciality that you want to pursue, make another list of top 10 photographers and then follow and start working with those top 10. The best of the best, not any average guy, the best of the best. Email them. If they don't get back to you, follow up, call them. The other amount of times we get emails from assistants and they never even send a follow-up email, never even bother to call. Why not? If they really want to work with you, they should, and you guys should all be doing that. Email, 3 days later, follow up with another email. If they don't get back to you, call them. That will show that this person is persistent. We've got 2 of our assistants here today, and they both did similar things. They either came up to us at a talk and said, you know, we really like what you do. They were willing to work with us for free. You know, that's the way you've got to be. You've got to really want it. And then start shooting. Make sure you're shooting. Make sure you're producing your own work. Work with other photographers. Learn from other people. Develop your own style of work. And make sure you get out there and start pushing your work out as soon as possible. Because you might start booking some jobs, right? And £200, £300 that helps to pay for a light. Slowly start to build yourself up. So when you make the jump from assistant to a full-time photographer, it doesn't feel too dramatic. Okay? So these are our social media links, guys. Please feel free to follow us. We put up a lot of content. We do a weekly Q&A show on our YouTube channel where people write in, they ask us questions. So you guys can always do that and keep engaged with us. We document everything we do. So it would be great to engage with you guys on that platform. If you guys have any questions you'd like to ask us, I think we've got a few minutes to answer any questions. If anybody's got a question, you can put your hand up, I can answer them. Any of you got any questions you'd like to ask? Yep.
Do you both take the photographs or?
No. So Amit tends to take the photographs just because we've worked in a way where it's better suited where Amit takes a photograph and I tend to lie and you know, talk with the client, and is a bit more of a creative direction. But the interesting thing about photography, this is what you'll learn as you start to develop your career. A lot of people think of photography is literally about clicking the camera. Photography is everything around it. Photography is the location. Is it the right location? The right model, the right styling. Does the hair look good? Does the lighting look good? That moment where you click the camera is just the final nail in the coffin. Everything else has been created beforehand. That's photography. That's photography. That's creating the mood. See, there's a big difference between capturing and creating. Does anybody know the difference between capturing and creating images? Anybody feel confident enough to tell me what they think the difference is? Capturing, go ahead, mate.
It's like you're more like producing something, so you're pouring like more work and more time into something that's like more throwaway, like Snapchat, for instance. So
Kind of, yeah. I mean, see, people ask us when we go to weddings or we go to birthdays, where's your camera, man? You're a photographer, where's your camera? The thing is, when you go to an event, you're capturing an image. We like to create an image. We like to find the right model, the right location, get the lighting right, do the post-production. Everything's done. I do the retouching. So everything's done by us. So we're creating our image, not capturing. There's a big difference. And that's what you guys should think about. Do you want to capture images or do you want to create? Sometimes people are better capturing. They've got a more reportage style. They're like doing wedding photography. We're not like that. We're too bold and, we want to put our own stamp on everything. So we want to create everything ourselves. So you have to kind of know the difference. So me and Amit, create our own images. We work well as we do. For the last 12 years, we don't break the formula. Any other questions? Anybody like to ask? Yes.
Was your first paid work doing like models?
Our first paid work was was basically a friend of a friend of a friend who had seen us do some work. Just some test shoot stuff, and said, look, I want to get some shots done. I think he had like 300 quid. We jumped over a fence at an industrial yard and just took some cool shots. And literally, put all this stuff on MySpace. And then we got a phone call one day from a music artist saying, hi, I'm a music artist. I've just been signed to Island Records. I'd love for you to do my photos. And when we got that email, we were like, what, this guy signed to a record label? Because our big thing was, we can't wait the day till we go into a record label. And where we live in West London, in Kensington, there's a big offices where Universal Records are. And we're like, one day we're going to walk in there. And that day we walked in there. And it was only a job for like £600, but literally, after that job, we just took over the music game. For like 5-6 years, we'd shoot every single music artist. Now we don't really do music because the budgets aren't really there anymore. But, that one shoot led to everything. But we just tested and we shot and we put the best work out there. So anybody can do it. We put it up on our MySpace account. And from MySpace it. But now, guys, for you guys, you've got all the platforms here. All it comes down to is doing the work. It's difficult. We know it's hard. It's not easy to do it. Have a little bit of confidence and really go for it. If you really want it, you'll make it happen. Any other questions? Awesome, thank you guys. Hope you guys learned something from that. We're going to be hanging around for a bit afterwards anyway. If you want to ask us any questions in person, you can. Brilliant, cheers, thank you.